What happens when the stories we read fail to reflect the skin we live in? On this episode of Black in the Stacks, we explore the vital necessity of representation in literacy and the journey of navigating the world with a rare condition. I am joined by Megan Cauthen, the founder of the Golden Impact and author of the children's book Nellie and Ollie Meeting a Friend Like Me. Megan shares her firsthand perspective on growing up with albinism and how her personal history inspired her to write for the next generation. We discuss the transition from lived experience to the written word, why diverse characters are essential for childhood development, and the reality of life with albinism and the power of reclaiming your own narrative.
Well, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to talk about your book that you have coming out, or is it out already? It's coming out soon, right?
So I actually wrote the book in 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, I wrote the book in 2021, and um, I did a small, intimate book launch for family and friends in November of 2022, and I had plans to relaunch it in 2024, but I got pregnant with my son, so I focused on that. And last year, I just don't know what happened. I don't know. 2025 just flew by. So I was like, you know what? I really got to get the book out this year to the public because I feel like it's very important for people to know exactly what albinism is because there are so many misconceptions and myths on, what what exactly albinism is and being albino. So, it's the time to just get the message out there and not shy away from telling my story. So I plan to relaunch within the next 2 months.
Okay. Listen, creativity is flexible. So even if you said 2 months here, but it's three, that's fine, right?
I know, and I'm
Good.
trying to put a date on it because every time, like I could be like, oh, it's gonna come out May 3rd, and I feel like something happens, and it's like I have to prolong it more. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say 2 or 3 months of summertime, whatever. It's like every time I put a date, it never goes right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Completely understand. Completely understand. But let's back up a little bit and tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, your background, and how you became a writer.
I am a person with albinism or a woman with albinism. I have two children. I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old. Yeah, the gap is crazy. I know. And I'm the oldest. Well, for my mom, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and for my dad, I'm like the fourth oldest. But I also have a brother. His name is Marty. We call him Tay for short. He is albino as well, and everyone think we're twins, but we're not. He's much taller. They think we're twins, or they think he's the oldest. What drove me to write this book is I've always known that I wanted to educate people on what albinism is. I just never really knew how. And I can remember years ago, my best friend and I may have been in middle school at the time, we just kind of talked about how I want to do that. And I remember we were talking about like building a website, just throwing things out there. So, um, as I got older, I guess I wasn't too focused on it, but once I had my daughter, I really, really wanted to educate people because when she was in the third grade at the time, people were asking her questions like, is she mixed or is she adopted? Is your mom white? Kids are very curious.
Hmm.
So I remember one day she came home and she was just like, "Mom, can you write my class a letter explaining to them what albinism is?" And I was like, "Okay." So then that night I thought about it. I was like, "You know what? I'll do something even better. I'll write a children's book." So she was my inspiration behind writing the children's book, as well as my mom. She passed away in 2013. Right when my daughter was a year and a half. So, and my mom was a heavy advocate when it came to me and my brother. And then I dedicated the book to my brother. So it's dedicated to my daughter, my mom, and my brother. So that really, the push and her asking if I could write a letter to her class, that really was the push that I needed to write the children's book.
And the title of the book is Nellie and Ollie Meeting a Friend Like Me. So can you give us just a quick overview?
So readers, they will see that Nellie, of course, is a little girl interacting with an albino squirrel as well. And they just meet each other in a park. Nellie's kind of having a bad day. Ollie sees her, so they just start talking. They become friends, walking through, the woods, the forest, and they're just talking about like how they're talking about what it's like being albino, the challenges that comes with it, and then they reach a happy place and they just start talking about things that they want to let go of and just start shouting out positive affirmations. So, just really being able to embrace who they are.
Yeah, and in reading it, um, I enjoyed as we got to that part about the positive affirmations and stuff. Um, you kind of see that in some children's books, but like some children's books are just what they are, right? Like there's a beginning, middle, and end, and that's it. There's no real sort of lesson in
Hmm.
it. But this one definitely does a good job of both educating and entertaining in the process as you're reading it. But you touched on it a little bit, and I want to go a little deeper into that.
Hmm.
The reasoning for the book. So I can imagine, like growing up, you never really saw yourself or your brother being reflected in like popular culture or books or movies or anything like that. So did that play a part in fueling your writing?
Yes, it did. And honestly, it took me 20 to 30 minutes to write the book because, it's coming from lived experiences. So it was easy to just write it. And then of course with editing and stuff, it took longer, but it didn't take long to write the story out. And of course I tweaked it a bit. But yeah, just the lived experiences and, everything that we've experienced along the way.
Mm. So, how did you go about keeping the educational aspects of albinism while also making the story engaging for children?
Mhm. Well, I wanted to start off with storytelling because, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to tell a story. But I wanted it to be an easy, like a gentle read for children. So that's why and my sister-in-law actually gave me the idea of using the premises of a child interacting with a squirrel because squirrels are friendly. And I didn't want to just use a dog because I feel like this is I don't know. I just want to use something different. So I was like a squirrel, and there are albino squirrels out here. So um, I wanted to, I just wanted kids to be able to engage, and especially with like talking about the acorns and all that. So it was just very kid friendly. And I wanted it to talk about how the characters talk about friendship. But I just wanted to see like, yes, Nellie does look different, but just because she looks different, that doesn't mean that, she's not a human being. Like she doesn't have feelings. Because although she looks different, she does have feelings.
Mhm.
Um, and just always expressing kindness because kindness goes a long way. I'm educating the kids on what it is, but I'm also showing them how it is to express kindness no matter how a person looks.
I know you said your daughter was sort of the inspiration for the book itself, but was it always in your mind going to be a picture book? Did you ever think about it being a memoir or just like a general nonfiction guide for parents?
No, not really. Honestly, I guess I could say a memoir would have been something that I would have discussed on, but like I said, me having like children now, it's important for me to. I felt like it would be important for me to write a children's book, and then from there, I could write something more for like teenagers and adults.
And children's books, I mean, everybody loves a children's book. right? Like Dr. Seuss, despite his
Yeah.
earlier flawed books, is still Dr. Seuss, right?
Mhm.
Like it's familiar, it's comfort, it's nostalgic for people who, you know, grew up reading it. And I think sometimes when we have hard-hitting subjects like this, delivering it in an easy to digest and cute format is a quicker way of absorbing that
Mhm.
kind of information versus, you know, a thick textbook or anything like that. Um, Albinism is a highly visual condition.
Mhm.
Um, and this being a children's book, the pictures are important. So, how did you collaborate with your illustrator to make sure that the character's appearance was not just accurate, but also relatable?
Mhm. So I actually use the Illustrator. I use a Fiverr app, and I found an illustrator. Like it took me a while to research the illustrators, and when I finally found an illustrator, I told her exactly what I wanted. I was very detailed, like when it came down to the clothing, and so I can remember I was asking her, was she aware of what albinism was because she is in Pakistan, and it's like language barriers and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel when it came to my character, she did really well, and she also she told me she told me she knew what it was, but she did look it up because she sent me a picture of like an albino lady, and so I was like, yes, and I was like, but I wanted to. I ended up sending her a picture of me, and so
Hmm.
she just kind of and I explained to her like how I wanted the child to look, and I feel like with the squirrel it was really easy because he's just a white squirrel, but I was very because I didn't want and I don't want it to sound funny. I didn't want. I don't know if I should say this. I didn't want her to make. I guess Nellie like too. I don't. I didn't want her to make her look. I don't want to say too pale, but like
Yes.
I'm like just. I didn't want her to look scary. I'll say that. I don't know how else like to
I was
say
about to
that
say, yeah.
readers.
Yeah.
So I was very. This is how I want her to look, and I think she did a really good job.
Hmm.
And when I was younger, I did wear glasses, and granted, I should be wearing them right now because I can't see. But I want to make sure that the little girl, want to make sure that Nellie had on glasses, and blonde hair. I'm a natural blonde. So she did well when it came to illustrations, and of course, with it being outside on playground, I wanted it very vivid. However, I'll tell you this. I kind of have a Nellie and Ollie 2.0, and I'll have to send you that too. I'm just trying to debate on which one I want to go with because actually my book is the one I sent you. It's like 5 by 7. It's really small, and when I first got them in the mail, I was like, "This is not it." However, they grew on me, and it was like for little hands and all that. So I was like, "Okay, this is cute." But I was like, I really just kind of need like a standard book size.
Yeah.
So I had to find another illustrator, and uh, it's the same characters, everything, but it's more like it is more vivid. It's really nice. So now I'm just trying to figure out which which book I want to use.
Hmm.
They both look really good. And I think the second one looks really, really nice. Like I said, I did the formatting is different, the font, and like I said, I
Hmm.
will send that over to you. You can help me pick if you want.
Sure.
Being a librarian, so I'm just trying to decide which one, and maybe I'll do both.
I mean, those are good problems to have, right? Like are a lot of people who probably are listening to this. Like I haven't even gotten so far as like finalizing the title, and you know, here she is with two two versions to pick from. So they're probably like, let me step my game up a little.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I feel like with my first illustrator, there kind of was a lot of back and forth too. There was a lot of back and forth, and I know with
Hmm.
working, with someone that's not American, like I know it could be sometimes a little challenging, but it worked out. But like I said, and even the other illustrator is from Pakistan, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Like they have different, I guess, design techniques. So I like them both, but I just gotta decide which one I want. And I do like that the second one is bigger. But then, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
my babies, my 5x7 books, I don't know, they were just a little cute for little hands.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's one little thing I have to try to figure out. But I'm not gonna dwell on it.
So let's talk a little bit about um, how the book relates to education and its impact once it's kind of out there in the world. So um, the book does touch on, the harms of, teasing and making fun of others. Once the book is out there, how do you think teachers, parents, and caregivers um, should use the book to start conversations about having empathy for others?
Mhm. I think they should start, of course, asking them, what is Nellie and Ollie about? Um, what does it mean uh, to be nice to someone? And I think it also will let everyone know um, that it's important not to judge, basically, not to judge a book by its cover, and know that there are people out here that may look different from you, but you always treat them with kindness. Because that's my book is expressed at the back of the book is kindness is beautiful. So, just always express kindness, always be kind to others. Don't be a bully. Of course, don't let anyone bully you. Because I feel like now, of course, I know we have like the bullying law, which I think is very, very important. And I feel like nowadays any little thing can be bullying. So you just gotta be mindful
Mhm.
of, well, anyone. Just gotta really be mindful of, how you treat others, because there are consequences to your actions.
Um, so, from your experience, do you feel that when it comes to bullying a person who has albinism, do you think that bullying stems more from a place of being mean spirited, or is it just because they lack information, like they don't know any better?
I'll say both. And I say that because there are some people that just don't know what it is. Like the hard
Hmm.
out don't know. So I guess sometimes we can be ignorant to a lot of things we don't know about. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's also people that's very evil when it comes to certain things. And it's like sometimes people know better. They just don't want to do better. And I
Hmm.
say that because when I was younger, I got teased a lot. Me and my brother both. We got called Casper, the white friendly ghost, or she wants to be black, and blah blah blah, all this type of stuff. So I do feel, I feel like it can be both, but then there are a lot of people that genuinely don't know exactly what albinism is, and that's why I want to be able to, educate those on what it is.
Hmm.
It's very important because I feel like it's still people out here that don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and young readers need to know what this is, and in general, they need to know whether someone is albino, someone that may have a disability. Like they just need to know that there are going to be others that look different from you, and that's okay.
I was very young when I think I encountered um, a classmate who just happened to be, albino.
Hmm.
Um, and again, not knowing, um, her friend actually educated me as a child. Um, and the book does a very good job of doing that. I don't want to give too much away
Oh
of
no, no, you're
how,
you're fine.
because I want people to go and like pick it up when it's out
Yeah,
there and
yeah.
want to read it and everything. But yeah, like there's the way that um, Ali is introduced before his true self is revealed, I should say,
Hmm.
is kind of how we meet people, right? Like we see them visually for who they are. And then as we, talk more, engage more, right? Like the outer sort of melts away and then your inner person kind of shines through. Um, and the book does a really good job of doing that, like I mean, it's in the title, right? But like the unfolding of the revelation of the "you're like me" part
Mhm.
was really really good.
Oh,
And
thank
my
you.
daughter liked it too. So,
Oh, great.
and she is super particular about what she reads. Like she'll get 2 pages in and she'll be like, "No, next." But this one she read all the way through it.
Oh, okay, good. Well, like, tell her
Yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah. And she's such a loving person. Like she loves animals. Like she just loves people in general and stuff. And at the end, she was just kind of like, "I'm glad they found each other. I'm glad they made their friends with each other." Um, yeah. So
Tell her to get
she's.
prepared for more adventures.
I will let her know. Um, so yeah, we've talked a little bit about it, but what would you say is the universal message that you hope children without this condition take away from reading the book?
Mm. Um, I want them to know that it's okay to be kind and also acceptance because I feel we all it's like we all want someone to accept us. And like it's okay if someone doesn't accept us, but I feel like as long as we accept ourselves and no matter how we look, a lot of times we may not be able to change how we look, but we can learn how to embrace it. And that's the message. Like I want everyone, young readers, whoever, to be able to embrace who they are, know that they are unique, and finding their voice because I'm heavily advocating for people to find their voice. And I know it's easy to shy away from a lot of things, but just embracing yourself, um, spreading kindness, and just being able to accept yourself because God made you. He gave us all a purpose. We all have a purpose, and I just feel like you need to embrace what exactly that purpose is.
And then to that same point, if a child with albinism reads this book, what is the one feeling or thought you hope they walk away with?
I want them to walk away with knowing that it is okay to be different. And I'm heavy on being different may actually be your superpower. With me being albino, I feel like no, I didn't want to be this way. I used to ask my mom if she could paint me brown. Literally, I wanted to look like my mom and my dad. Um, but of course, I couldn't do that. She couldn't do
Mhm.
that. So, me being albino really is my superpower because I'm going to be able to educate um above and beyond on what exactly albinism is. Um, just you can impact the world. You never know.
Absolutely, yeah. So before I ask my final couple of questions, is there anything that we have not touched on that you want our listeners to know?
Know that, of course, it's okay to be different. It's okay to look different, and it's okay to take up for someone else. Because I feel like sometimes we have people or kids or in general, someone may be getting picked on or and I feel like you may want to step in, but sometimes you're afraid to do that. And I just feel like that's also of like finding your voice, taking up for yourself or taking up for someone. I feel it's very important. Don't shy away from it. If you see someone being a bully, or stick up for them. If you're not able to, go tell a teacher. But don't, because I feel like nowadays kids want to be accepted. Because I see it with like my daughter's age group, because she's in 8th grade, and I feel like they want to be accepted so bad or they want to be in a certain group that they start targeting the same people who those people are targeting. It's like, don't be that way. Be a leader, not a follower. It's okay to not be a follower. And that's something that I've been talking to my daughter about. Um, just being a leader. Don't follow anyone, especially if they're making poor choices and being a bully. I'm heavy on not bullying.
Yeah.
Because I've been bullied my whole life,
Yeah.
and so I advocate for bullying. Like, I anti-bully. Don't let nobody bully you. Don't you bully anyone.
Mhm.
So I just want, young readers to know that it's okay to stick up for yourself and stick up for others. And you can do all of those things while still expressing kindness.
All right. So I'm going to ask my last couple of questions, and these are
Mhm.
questions that I ask of every guest. So, what creative works are currently occupying your time? What are you reading? What are you working on? Watching anything? Music? Just what's occupying your time?
Um, right now what's occupying my time is I am writing a self-help book.
Cool.
And it's going to be more into me growing up with albinism, but it's
Hmm.
more so for teens and adults.
Okay.
So that is something that I am working on. I'm hoping I can be finished with that by the end of this month. And of course, I'm also working on relaunching Nellie and Ollie. There will be a series. I'm going to turn it into a series.
Hey.
My initial plan was to do a dual book launch, introducing a second book. But I feel like since I only just released my book to like family and friends. I still want to give my Nellie and Ollie Meeting a Friend Like Me its own separate launch because I don't want to take
Hmm.
away from it.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, I am finishing up a self help book. I need to be writing my second children's book. I have titles and like I kind of have some stuff here and there. I'm just trying to figure out how I want it to go.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I'm kind of there. That's why I say let baby girl know that this is not the end of Nellie and Ollie. um, they have plenty more adventures to go on and new friends to meet along the way. So I'm working on this self help book, book 2, part of the Nellie and Ollie series. Um, and I'm working on a journal for my self help book, and I hope that I can have a coloring book for Nellie and Ollie. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff that I want to do.
Right. I was about to say you have a lot going on.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I got laid off from my job, so I have
Oh.
all this time in the world until I find another job to kind of get these things done. So I'm gonna take advantage of my time. I've been using my time wisely. So those are a few things that I definitely want to get out this year.
Hmm.
Who knows? Maybe we'll have a podcast. I don't know. I'm taking my time, but who
Yeah.
knows? There may be a podcast coming later. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, there's room for everybody,
yeah,
right? There's a podcast every day, right?
yeah. I'm just like, oh my god, there's so many podcasters out here, and I was so happy I came across your profile because, like I said, I'm from a small town. There should be no excuse. I tell my boyfriend this all the time. There should be no excuse that my book is not in the library and where I'm from. So that's the goal. Like I want to do more. I want to go to more schools to read. I want to read my story. I I read my book at a daycare a few years ago. The kids really enjoyed it. They were because I was excited to see how interactive they would be, and they were really good, especially when it came to the affirmation part. Because I had them like shout out the affirmations after me, so they
Mm.
really enjoyed that. Like I spoke at a church, so I'm just really
Mhm.
trying to build a community where we're expressing positivity, we're being kind, and we're being impactful to one another.
What is one thing you will always be proud of?
One thing I will always be proud of is finally finding my voice in coming out of my shell. I used to be very shy. Walk with my head held down. Don't want nobody looking at my face because sometimes my eyes move and it just comes with it. But sometimes I don't like that. So really, just being able to embrace my uniqueness, and being okay with it, and just being able to accept the fact that this is who I am and nothing's gonna change about it.
What's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm a writer. Because honestly, this was not being a writer was not on my list. I never really thought that I would be a writer. Like I said, I
Mhm,
knew I wanted to educate people. I just didn't know how. So writing a book, being an author, I really kind of didn't see on the table. It's just something that really just happened. So I guess I kind of would be surprised about that. Not, it's like I'm surprised, but not too surprised. But I just, like I said, it was never nothing that I really thought about doing.
mhm.
Um, and I guess not really knowing that people would be this interested in my story.
Lastly, where can people find you online, if they wanna connect with you further? And then where or can they pre-order the book, or should they just kinda contact you to talk about that?
Well, I'm in the process now of figuring out if I will do pre-orders for the book,
Okay.
and I am working on my website. I will not be on Amazon, but everyone will be able to order the book through my website. Um, Working on another email as well, but for now, I could be emailed at Megan Cauthen, Megan Cauthen, Cauthen .books at gmail.com. I can be found on Instagram at the Golden Impact.
Awesome. Instagram and Threads, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Threads. Can't forget about Threads. Threads is how I found you.
Yeah.
And I just started utilizing Threads. I never knew Threads could be this, I guess it's a little impactful.
Mhm,
It's like I'm not really trying to go like viral, but I'm just trying to connect with, you know, like I say, librarians, authors, anyone
mhm.
book related.
Right.
Yes, and Threads. And I'm working on my Facebook page for my book.
It's been great. Um, I again really enjoyed the book. And thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, keep us posted once the book is out there and everything. We'd be happy to support.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for having me and taking the time to learn more about myself and my children's book.
For more information, you can visit us online at www.blackinthestacks.com and find us on most social media platforms at Black in the Stacks.